Gawdlike.
What is up, guys? This is Gawdlikemat, and welcome to my review of Metal Gear Online. We got a shitload of stuff to cover today, so we're gonna get started real quick, but hope you guys enjoy, and I'm gonna try and be as in-depth and include as many details as I can. So again, I really hope you guys enjoy this review, and let's get started. So I want you guys to know that we're gonna start off with the problems first, because there's a fucking lot of them. I have a lot of issues with Metal Gear Online, so I'm going to start with those. And there's way more issues with the game that I have than there are good things. So I'm really going to get into this and just keep an open mind about everything, guys. So here it goes. So my first problem that I found with Metal Gear Online, and probably one of the most important ones, because this one is really bothersome and I find it extremely annoying, and I noticed it right off the bat as soon as I started up Metal Gear Online, is the fact that you can't back out of Metal Gear Online once you're in it. Once you start up Metal Gear Online, as far as I know, there is absolutely no way to get back to the campaign. You'll have to close the entire game, or close application, or whatever platform you're on. You have to force shut down the game and restart up the entire game just to get back to campaign if you wanted to switch back. And I find that absolutely absurd, and that's really ridiculous that they wouldn't just include an option to return to title screen. Like, how hard would that have been, honestly? Like, I really don't understand that. And I tried everything. I pressed every button on the controller. I looked for every little, like, tooltip or whatever that would tell me something to allow me to go back to the title screen, and I found nothing. And there was just no way that I could see to return to out of Metal Gear Online, and that's just really ridiculous, and that's something that really shouldn't be a thing. Another thing I found pretty annoying about Metal Gear Online, although ultimately I got used to it after playing for a while, but still, to any newcomers, this will catch them off guard, and they really won't like it, just as much as I didn't, because this totally threw me off, and it was different from any shooter game I've ever played, at least any good one I've ever played. And I just really don't like the fact that when you join up like a match, let's say you go to play a game of Bounty Hunter, you'll play the match of Bounty Hunter, and then as soon as the match is over, it'll automatically put you in another queue for a different game type. And there's only 3 game types. There's Cloak and Dagger, Bounty Hunter, and I forgot what the third one was, but it's that Capture the Hill type one where you gotta control the different objectives. Yeah, so those are the 3 modes, and every time you finish playing one, it automatically just puts you in a different one. Like, you'll go right from Bounty Hunter to Cloak and Dagger, and then Cloak and Dagger to the other one, and it'll keep cycling through different game types. Here's why this is problematic. What if I only want to play Bounty Hunter? Like, what if I'm not a big fan of Cloak and Dagger? Which I'm not, actually. Like, Cloak and Dagger's alright, but I don't enjoy it nearly as much as the other 2 modes. And I don't like just being put in it without my control. And this ties into the other problems as well, which I'll get to. But, yeah, like, that's very problematic. And anyone who's just playing the game for the first time is not going to like that either. They're probably only going to want to get used to one game type, not being thrown into other game types that you automatically got to get adjusted to. This isn't good, because the player is going to want to go at his own pace, take his time, and learn things at his own pace. And the game is just throwing you in this chaotic, you know, unorderly fashion about the matches, and it's not good. It really shouldn't be a thing. Now, my next problem with Metal Gear Online really ties into the last 2 that I just mentioned, and all 3 of these problems together, like, really make a core problem here, and it's so problematic. And what this issue is, and this is my next problem, I noticed when you're in a match, and let's say For example, the last problem I just brought up, let's say you join a game of Bounty Hunter, you play it, you're thrown into Cloak and Dagger, and now you don't want to play Cloak and Dagger because that's not what you wanted to play originally. You only wanted to play Bounty Hunter. So now your first thoughts are to back out of the match. Well, you can't do that. That's the next problem that I have with this game. You, for whatever reason, you cannot back out of anything. Like, I brought this up earlier. You can't back out of free play to go back to campaign. And when you join a match, you can't back out of the match in the middle of the match to leave. Like, that is ridiculous. Now, I understand that maybe that's some sort of countermeasure to stop people from rage quitting. Although, ultimately, if someone really wanted to, they could just shut down the game and close application or whatever. So, that's not really that big of a countermeasure. They don't even have a lockout system for ragers, kind of like League of Legends. There's nothing like that. So, the fact that you just don't include an option to back out of a match if someone doesn't want to play it, especially when you're forcing them into a game type that they didn't even want to play, that's really problematic. Like, it's just not good. It's such a simple tool you can include, and they just didn't do it. Like, they force you to stay in the match, and they want you to play it out till the end. And another reason why this was so annoying was, you know, me, when I first played the game yesterday on release, I was playing the entire thing with my friend Brendan, and we were just playing it together. Now, we were trying to constantly stay in a party and play all our matches together, and let's say one of us got into a game and the other one couldn't get in for whatever reason, whether that be disconnecting or whatever, and let's say Brendan gets in and I didn't, and now I'm like, okay, dude, just back out of the game, come back into free play, and we'll try again. He can't. He's stuck in the entire match until it fucking ends. Or close application, restart the whole fucking game, which would be faster. But that's hella annoying that you gotta restart the entire fucking game just to get out of a match. Like, that's ridiculous. And even on top of all this, the only prompt they ever give you to back out of a match is when the match ends. Right at the finishing screen, after they tally up all the points, show you your score, they'll have this final menu, and at the bottom of the screen it'll say, like, press circle to back out. And it only gives you, like, and I'm not kidding, 2 seconds to fucking hit that button. And if you don't hit it in time, it just throws you into the next game, and then you're stuck again. It's so fucking absurd. It's ridiculous. I can't get over, like, there's so many problems with Metal Gear Online. It's crazy. Like, the list is huge of problems. Like, it's nuts. Now, this next one is another huge issue I have with Metal Gear Online, and it was really pissing me and Brendan off when we were trying to play together. So, while we were in free play, we went ahead and made a party, and we tried to join some games. Most of them worked, but some of them, we'd have some issues where, for example, sometimes we try to join a match, Brendan would get in, and I wouldn't, because there'd only be enough room for one person in the match, and then Brendan is now stuck in that match because he can't back out, and I'm trying to get in, but it's full and no one's leaving. So he's just stuck playing the entire game. I can't get in because no one wants to leave. And explain to me here how us making a party and playing together is a thing, because it doesn't seem to be. Konami has, like, gone out of their way to make this so inconvenient to play together, and these constant problems just are always affecting that, and it's so problematic. Like, it was really pissing us off. And also, on top of that, or actually, before I get off topic, bottom line about that problem is, and so many shooter games do this correctly. I don't know why Konami couldn't do it correctly. Fucking every other shooter game I've played, I've never had this problem. It's really simple. All you gotta do is not allow either of us to get into a match unless there's enough room for both of us. Why throw one of us in a match and then the other person can't get in, and then they're just stuck and they can't join? That is so fucking stupid. And it's so easy to avoid this problem, like, because I see it with every fucking shooter game. Call of Duty, Halo, fucking Uncharted, all the shooter games I play. Even Rainbow Six Siege, when I was playing the beta the other day, never had this problem. We'd only ever get in a game that we could all fucking get into. It's really dumb. But anyways, this ties into another problem. I'm gonna go right into my next problem from this problem because they're so similar. Sometimes when me and Brendan would join a match, yeah, there'd be enough room for both of us, but randomly, for no fucking reason, Metal Gear Online would just decide to put us on opposite teams. Brendan would be on one team, I'd be on the opposing team. Now, this is so stupid. Again, easy way to solve this problem. Don't let us join a match unless there's enough room for both of us and we can both be on the same team. Konami, hello, that's why we made a party, to play together. What makes you think we want to fucking fight each other? Now, I personally have no problem with fighting my friends, but Brendan was saying this to me while we were fucking playing. He was like, man, I didn't fucking party up with you to fucking fight you. I wanted to team up with you, because he's big on co-op. He loves doing, you know, team things, getting each other's backs and helping each other throughout the match. Can't do that when you're on the enemy team. And he feels like, and I don't blame him, sometimes when he gets into a match, like, he feels like he's got no support. Sometimes his entire team is just consisted of lone wolves who just all go off and do their own thing. And that doesn't give you much of the team game feel. I totally understand where he's coming from and why that annoys him. And bottom line, if you party up with someone, do not fucking let them join a match separately, not on the same team, or both don't get in. The whole reason we're partying, as I said, is to play together. So fucking allow it to happen, game. Honestly, these problems are so ridiculous. I've never had problems like this, as I said, in any shooter game I've ever played, and this is crazy. Like, this is very basic stuff that should have been included in the game, and it's nuts. Now, this next problem ties into the last one I just brought up, how I was talking about how me and Brendan wanted to play as a team, and that's why we partied up. That was the whole reason, because we wanted to co-op. Now, Metal Gear Online included this cool little system, a lot like Uncharted, where you can buddy up, although unlike Uncharted, or actually no, Uncharted you could buddy up at any time. In this game you can too. You have this whole salute motion where you click the analog stick in. Now, this fucking buddy up system in Metal Gear Online is so goddamn gimmicky. We try to buddy up every match. Like, it's so weird. First of all, there's a huge random factor. Every time me and Brendan get into a new match, sometimes we'll still be buddied up, even though we buddied up last game. We'll go into the next game and still be buddies. That's awesome. But then, at other times, we'll join the next match, and we'll randomly not be buddies, and have different buddies, or no buddy at all. And it's just so random. Like, literally, there's a complete random factor to it. It just sometimes will keep you as buddies, and sometimes it won't. Now, the way you actually become buddies, by clicking the analog stick and saluting, we noticed, like, and we did this every time, it would always take like 3 to 4 tries to get it to fucking go off. Because when you salute, I think you have to be at a certain fucking distance from each other, and you have to be looking at each other face to face. If you are even slightly turned the wrong way, or you're not close enough, or you're too close, the buddy system won't link. And it's so annoying. Especially when, like, lucky for me and Brendan, we were on fucking Skype when we were playing, so we were able to talk to each other and coordinate a little better. But that would have been hell on earth if we couldn't coordinate with each other. We would have just been running around in circles back and forth trying to line up with each other, and because there's no communication, we'll just keep fucking, like, disorganizing ourselves, and it's just chaotic trying to do something as simple as become each other's buddy. And it is the most, like, it is such a task just to do something so simple. And it's a convenient tool that we want to utilize, so we take the time to do it. But it's absurd. It takes way too much time out of the match. You lose all your momentum. See, I'm the type of guy when I play these kinds of games where I just want to rush out into the battlefield, meet the enemy head on as fast as I possibly can, and fucking bring the heat. And when I'm taking a good, like, minute at the start of the match to fucking buddy up, like, Jesus Christ. Suddenly, there could be enemies in our fucking base by that point. Like, it's just... It's so bad, and it really needs to get fixed. Now, the next one isn't as big of an issue as all the other issues I've named, but I am going to bring it up because it does seem a little important, which is, when I go to customizing my character and I look at all the possible things that I could buy and unlock, there's barely anything. The shop is a fucking barren wasteland. There's a few hats, and then there's only 2 armor types, and then there's like a few vests you could put over them. And that's it. There's nothing else to get. Like, holy crap. You could have did so many cool things. Now, actually, before I get into what they could have done. Now, I don't know this for sure. Like, I don't know if I keep playing Metal Gear Online, that I might unlock new options that'll appear in the shop when I go to spend my GP. I don't know. If there's secret things in there that have yet to show themselves, I have no idea. So if I'm bringing up this problem when there actually is more content and I don't know about it, then I apologize and it's not an actual problem. But from what I can tell, all that's available is what I can see. And it's not a lot, in all honesty. It's really not. And as I was gonna say, you could have did so many fucking cool things with Metal Gear Online. Now, I have no doubt that there will probably be DLC to include with this stuff, but this should have been stuff that came out off the bat, man. Like, they had... Metal Gear Online didn't even come out with the launch of the actual game. It came out over a month later. You had so much time to fucking prepare, and they didn't. Like, and now some really cool ideas that I thought of, I brought up to Brendan. He thought it was an awesome idea too, because we were both playing. What they could have done was include, like, anything and everything from the older Metal Gear games in terms of customization. Like, for example, there's barely any selection for clothing. There's only the 2 fucking options. What you could have did was you could have threw in the head-to-toe white soldier outfit from the original Metal Gear Solid on PS1. All the standard soldiers at the beginning of the game would be wearing all white head-to-toe, and they had those masks. And that would have been really nostalgic and cool if you could wear that outfit in the online. Or, for example, Metal Gear 2, Sons of Liberty. At the beginning of the game, when you're on the tanker as Snake, all the Russian soldiers are all wearing this brown and black camouflage and the masks with the helmets and the AK-47s. That also would have been really cool to wear in the customization. You could have thrown in so many things from the other Metal Gear games, and they just didn't. And this is very simple stuff. This is fodder uniforms. That it just would have been a cool thing to have, and it would have been easy as hell to implement. But they didn't, and there's barely anything there. So, like, very limited customization, and there should be a lot more here, which is like, you know, like, in a game like this where you could rank up, gain experience, and gain a currency to buy in-game things, there's not much motivation to buy anything. Like, once I buy the few things that I want, which cost a shitload, by the way, I'll have nothing left to get. And then what happens to my money? Does it just pile up? Like, I guess we'll find out the more I play the game, but it seems like a pretty big issue for this type of thing. So that's that one. Now, this goes back to, like, it's related to the problem I just brought up with very limited customization. It's kind of relevant, but I really don't like the fact that when you first start out Metal Gear Online, that you have to hit rank 6 before you can make a new character. I really don't like that. That is really annoying. Like, when I first played my first few games of Metal Gear Online, I did fucking awful. I did terrible. And this is a very... Metal Gear is a very unique shooter game. It doesn't feel like anything you've ever played before. Because Metal Gear is its own thing. It has so many unique mechanics and tools that make it what it is. And because of that, it can be hard to adjust to how the game is supposed to be played, especially for newcomers that are coming to Metal Gear. And you can bet your ass there's a lot of them, because when Metal Gear gets its fantastic reviews, which it always does, the Metal Gear games are always great. You can always count on people hearing about it and wanting to get into it. And especially when Phantom Pain is the first one to include a real multiplayer. I don't count Metal Gear Solid 4 because its multiplayer was really weird, and it was one of the earliest forms of online gaming. I don't really include that one. I know it was a thing, but whatever. I don't really include it. But Phantom Pain is something you could bet your ass newcomers would want to get into and see it and think it looks fun and interesting and want to play it. And when you have, you know, when you have these newcomers come into your game and you're not able to fucking, like, you're stuck with your one avatar that you made from the story at the beginning of the story mode. You can't, once you've picked his class, you can't change it and you can't delete the character. You are stuck with what you fucking chose until you hit rank 6. Now, mind you, rank 6 doesn't take that long to get to. It took me about, like, 20 or 30 minutes to get there, or maybe even a little more than, maybe like 45 minutes. And that, it's so annoying. Like, for example, me personally, as soon as I started Metal Gear Online, I wanted to make a female character. That was the first thing I wanted to do, and I can't, because the avatar from the story mode is not allowed to be a female character, and you can't unlock the ability to make a new character until rank 6. So essentially what you're saying to me, game, is that you can't do something as simple as switch your gender until rank 6. You have to unlock the ability to gender change. That is ridiculous. I brought that up to Brendan, and he completely agreed with me. He thought that was... I've never seen anything like that in a video game before. Any video game that's ever allowed you to customize your character or make your own unique avatar character has never made the ability to switch from male to female an unlockable thing. It's ridiculous, and you should be able to switch it from the get-go. Anyways, that's that one. Now, I only have one last real problem with Metal Gear Online, but this last problem of mine is very opinionated, and it's based on how I feel about these types of games, me personally. And I know this won't apply to everyone. Obviously, not everyone feels this way, and I know that for a fact. Whereas all the other problems I brought up are genuine problems with the game that I'm pretty sure everyone can agree with me on. But this one is solely based on my opinion. I don't like shooter games like this. It's just not fun. I don't like being killed when it's out of my control. See, this is why I loved Call of Duty. You're running through all these narrow corridors and hallways. High chance that you're going to fucking run into someone, and it's only going to be you two for the most part. That's the majority of the fights in Call of Duty. And you can, you know, whoever's the better man's going to win. And you both have equal footing. When you run into each other, it's up to you to, you know, expand off that. But yeah, that's why I like Call of Duty. Like, everyone's got a fair fight. Everyone's got a fair chance. No one can see me from miles away and pick me off without me even knowing that they see me. So, that's why I'm not crazy about shooter games like this. And that's my personal opinion. To me, it's just, there's no fun in just getting picked off without knowing if anyone even sees you. I really don't like that. I think it's very frustrating, and I like everyone having equal footing, which is why I like the old classic shooter games where you're fucking running through the hallways of buildings and shit, and everyone's got a fair shot. Anyways, that's my whole take on it. But now we'll get to the good stuff, which is the few things I like about Metal Gear Online. Now, for the good things that I actually like about Metal Gear Online, I could only come up with 3 solid things that I really like about Metal Gear Online. and they are what makes the game worth playing. And they're the best redeeming qualities of Metal Gear Online. Like I said, if you could get past all those awful problems with the game, this is where you can truly find something to enjoy. It's with these 3 points that I'm about to bring up. So the first one is, this is the most minor one, but I still think it's really good. It's a smooth transition from the campaign to online. The controls feel as all the same, and the mechanics are all the same. Everything you could do in the campaign, you can do in multiplayer. Literally everything. Now, obviously, when you're playing as Big Boss, he has access to a much wider variety of whatever the fuck you want in the campaign, and you got all these unique buffs, like with your bionic arm, it's making you run faster so you can run forever, you never run out of breath sprinting, shit like that. And he can just have way more gear on him than you can in online, and that's because it's the campaign, clear and simple. But what's nice is the online plays exactly like the campaign. You could fucking interrogate people. I don't know why you'd ever do it, but you can. Everything is the same. It all moves at the same speed, all the same controls. It all plays just like the campaign. And that's really nice. If someone's, you know, only focused on the campaign and wants to give the online a shot, very smooth transition. There's very little of a learning curve. If chances are, if you know how to play Phantom Pain's campaign really well, then you're probably going to do well in the online. All online factors aside, you will play the game well, or at the very least, know how to play it. And I think that's pretty cool, because that's not always the case in online multiplayers for games. Sometimes there's completely different things that are only added to the multiplayer that make it different. And here, that isn't really the case. Most of everything just stays the same. Obviously, there's some new things, but in terms of actually playing the game, it's all there, which is really nice. Now, the second good thing, now my last 2 points are the truly redeeming qualities of Metal Gear Online. So my second one is, there's a lot of room for creativity. And I think this is really cool. Like, you could do some crazy fucking shit in Metal Gear Online. For example, there was this one time on the desert map, we were playing the King of the Hill type mode. I always forget what it's called. But I was going to capture one of the objectives. And I'm walking up, and it's controlled by the enemy, but there's no enemies around. I don't notice anyone. So I just walk up to the thing and start taking it over. I didn't even realize that there was a cardboard box right up against the wall. And because it was the desert map, it perfectly blended in and looked like something that was just part of the level. I didn't realize there was a cardboard box there at all. And it did such a good job blending into the desert terrain. And as I'm taking the thing over, this guy literally jumps, no, he leaps out of the box, slides across the sand, pulls out his handgun, and guns me down. And this all happens in a few seconds. And I'm just instantly dead. I had no idea that he was even there. And I wasn't even pissed. I was just surprised, shocked and awe, and I was so impressed. I was like, holy shit, that guy is probably feeling so good about himself right now, doing something so sick, and getting the drop on me like that. He probably thinks he's the most clever motherfucker ever. And I just admired that he was able to pull that off, because I can't do shit like that. It doesn't even occur to me. Like, there's so much shit you can do in Metal Gear Online to get really creative with the kills. It's not as simple as just shoot the other people. No, there's a lot more you can do in this. There's so many ways to take out your enemies, which is really nice. And I'm not used to that. Whenever I'm playing Metal Gear Online, I'm just running around the map shooting people with my assault rifle. And that's pretty much it. And if someone gets close, I'll melee and handle it accordingly. I don't really think about how I can get unique and creative, but the fact that that's there leaves for some really cool shit, like the story I just told you. Like, props to that guy, and if I ever did something that awesome, I'd feel absolutely amazing about myself as well. So, I think that's pretty fucking cool, and that's awesome. That's something you can only do in Metal Gear Online, so that's pretty cool. And for my last final redeeming point, probably one of the, well, it is undisputably one of the best things about Metal Gear Online, is the Metal Gear feel is really there. And I really like how you get rewarded for playing this game like it's Metal Gear. Like, if you play Metal Gear Online like it's a Metal Gear game, you actually get rewarded for doing it. And now the reason why I know this and I bring this up is, see, my friend Brendan, he's not the greatest at shooter games, but he loves the Metal Gear franchise. He's played and owned them all just like me. But he's not the greatest at competitive online multiplayer shooters. So, when we were going into this, you know, he was doing pretty bad at first. I caught on to the game a lot quicker than he did, and I started getting much better results much faster than he did. But there got to a point where within our, like, 5th or 6th match, Brendan started playing Metal Gear Online like it was Metal Gear. And what I mean by that is, he wasn't doing what I was doing. Every match I played, I would run out sprinting to the front lines to go meet them in battle, like I said, and fucking bring hell with me. All hell breaks loose. Just a chaotic gunfight. But what Brendan would take his sweet-ass time, sneak around every fucking rock through the bushes very slowly, and play it like it's fucking Metal Gear. Now, yeah, he's not going to have a lot of people see him. He was playing as the Infiltrator class, so obviously he's going to be very successful at sneaking. But I noticed, and this is what really shocked me, whenever the match would end, once he finally started catching on to how to play Metal Gear Online, you know, as I said, I'm running in there, guns blazing, shooting everybody up. I'd end the match with tons of kills, but I wouldn't have very many points for Fultons or objectives. And Brendan's score would sometimes even beat mine. He has nowhere near as many kills as me. Nowhere near. I have, like, literally 10 more than him. And that's a very significant gap and difference. But because he would tactically sneak up behind enemy lines, take people out and Fulton them, and get away with it, or he'd sneak into objectives and take them without anyone noticing, his score at the end of the match would match mine, just for doing that stuff. And he wasn't killing nearly as many people as me, which is awesome. And basically, what that means is, Metal Gear Online rewards you for playing it like it's Metal Gear. And I think that is so fucking cool. Like, that's awesome, because that truly shows, like, that truly makes the difference from this shooter game as opposed to any other shooter game. This is what makes this one unique. This is what makes this one creative and worth playing if you want to play something different. And I was so impressed that, you know, he was nowhere near as good as me at killing people, but because of all of his tactical ideas and getting behind enemy lines unnoticed, he would Fulton so many people just by sneaking up and meleeing them without them even knowing. And you get a shitload of points for Fultons, even more, like way more than you would for just killing a guy. And because of that, he most of the time matches my score, or he's maybe a little bit under or a little bit over. And that's very impressive. I think that's awesome, and that's great for someone like him who's not so great at, you know, going in guns blazing. So I think that's really cool. And another side thing I forgot to bring up, this is also a really cool thing about Metal Gear Online. Right before every match starts, you can switch the music that plays. Every match has, excuse me, an OST that can be played during the match, and you could pick from a bunch of songs from previous Metal Gear games or from Phantom Pain. And I picked the song from Metal Gear 1 because it's very nostalgic and I love it. And what's so cool is it has the normal theme from Metal Gear 1. As soon as the match starts, it's just playing, and it's very calm and very cool and epic. And once you get spotted by an enemy, and I mean literally spotted, if an enemy so much as aims their gun at you or spots you through their binoculars, your music changes to the alert music. And since I had the Metal Gear 1 music on, it was the old alert music from the PS1 game. And I think that is so fucking awesome. And it's great for knowing that you're about to be attacked. If that music starts playing, you know you gotta fucking duck and cover, find something to hide behind, or just be very cautious and alert of your surroundings. And that's a great mechanic, especially for what I was talking about earlier, how this game is very random factor. When you get spotted by guys you don't even know are there and get taken out, when that alert music goes off, you have a chance. You know that there's an enemy somewhere who can see you, and you can react accordingly. And that is really nice, because Battlefield doesn't do that. If someone spots you from across the map with a sniper, you're fucking dead, and you're not going to know he's there. But with the alert music, it's great. It's awesome. I think that's a really cool thing that they included. So there's some, like, the gameplay is where Metal Gear Online truly shines, but all those other fucking problems with it really do need to get fixed. And because of that, I would only give Metal Gear Online maybe, I don't know, a 6 out of 10 or a 6.5, because those problems are fucking big ones. Now, Metal Gear Online isn't at all a bad game, but its problems really fucking bring it down. And I think I gave it the score it deserves. But anyways, guys, actually, maybe I'll be a little generous. Maybe it deserves a 7, but I'd say more a 6 or 6.5. But anyways, guys, that was my review of Metal Gear Online. I truly hope you enjoyed, and I will definitely see you guys in my next video. But if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and subscribe. Check out my channel. I do stuff like this all the time. I'd really appreciate it. And if you guys agreed with me on this review, go ahead and let me in the comments. If you let me know in the comments if you disagreed. Tell me why. I'd be interested in your thoughts. Thank you guys for watching once again, and I will see you in my next video.